After a grueling hike up the Acatenango Volcano to see the active Fuego, it was time to spend a few days chilling in the famous city of Antigua, Guatemala. A city where colonial charm meets breathtaking volcano views, cobblestone streets, vibrant markets, and centuries-old ruins that make this UNESCO World Heritage Site a must-visit in Guatemala, and some of the best coffee in the world. I'm Hamo, and my legs are shot to pieces. Climbing up and down on volcanic ash for 2 days requires only one thing. Well, maybe 2 or 3 things. But that is trendy cafes, great coffee, and easy travel for a few days. Let's check out Antigua. Accommodation in Antigua can be expensive, but La Casita de Angie offers great value. For 110 quetzales, you can have a private room and a toilet, which was much needed after my hike. After a refresh, I managed to make it out onto the streets of Antigua, and already I love it with the colourful buildings and cobbled streets. However, not ideal for my legs, as they are as heavy as Trump's case files against them at the moment, but I honestly could walk around these streets all day. I love this kind of travel, easy travel, wandering around with no plan, and loving the colourful buildings. I do have a cafe in mind for breakfast and coffee, Fernando's Cafe. Located at 7A Avenida Norte, number 43.
Mi amigo bien.
The cafe has a relaxing atmosphere where locals and tourists can enjoy specialty coffee, handcrafted chocolates, and healthy meals. I did opt for some great coffee and an omelette, and even though this is popular for both locals and tourists, it'll be on the more expensive side compared to other local breakfasts you can find in the area. But my word, it is worth it. Podcast on YouTube, I need to take photos of the video, so I apologise. A great atmosphere, amazing service with great options for breakfast, and a must when you visit. Time to head and explore the city. This is the famous Santa Catalina Arch, which you'll see on every Google image when you search for Central America. Looks incredible, right? I'll come back to this with less tourists in the video. Nick is my friend from El Salvador, and we decided to explore more of the streets before our walk and talk with Jorge. We wandered past Central Park, the main square in Antigua, and there's a lot going on here with street vendors, music, and people gathering to enjoy the sun. I love the atmosphere. I was taken aback, however, by how many tourists are here, but I think this is because of my previous experience in El Salvador, where there was hardly any. Before we begin our tour, we dipped into a Japanese-style cafe for coffee, and this place is awesome. It's called Arbol, and it serves great coffee alongside Japanese food. This decor has given me great memories of my time in Japan. Nostalgia. Now it's time to meet our free walk and tour guide called Jorge, which I booked on Guru Walk. He meets us in Central Square before heading to the Church of La Merced. This cool church is one of the most popular in the city. For a second time, we headed to the Santa Catalina Arch, and I felt that the photos you see on Google are absolutely impossible because of how busy this place is all the time. We walked around the streets some more before finishing at the Hotel Casa Santo Domingo. This place is super cool and very upmarket, being a 5-star hotel. There are artifacts everywhere you look and it's so peaceful. After a long day, it was time for dinner, an Indian restaurant and a much needed rest at the hotel. A bit of that. What a day. Walked around, done a free walking tour, went out for dinner. Absolutely shattered. I tell you what, first impressions of Antigua is it's a very pretty town, cobbled streets, colourful buildings. It's very expensive, most expensive day yet. Service charge on everything that you buy. Restaurants in the central part of town. Paid $2 for a bottle of water, and it's so busy with tourists. I mean, it's actually a bit of a shock. I didn't expect to experience that because El Salvador is not quite busy enough with that yet. But coming here is hordes and hordes of people. Maybe it's a Friday night as well, might make a difference, but yeah, heaving with people, locals and foreign tourists. So it's a shock. Some great coffee as well though, some fantastic coffee, got some recommendations as well. Tomorrow is going to be a laptop day, a cheat day, a coffee day, and catching up on admin. But yeah, I'm excited to be in a new country, so yeah. Time is rattling on. Due to availability, I had to change hotels, so I wandered over to the Hotel Casa del Cerro, which is a different part of the city. After checking in, I went to a British pub to watch football. Don't judge, I know it's cliche, but I just needed a cup of tea and some Premier League football. However, I did get a chip butty in, a nice slice of home. It's time for another trendy coffee at Onzas, which is in the centre of town. This place has unbelievable coffee, a great chic look, and the cups are great as well. It's a must for coffee lovers. This courtyard is super cute too. I returned to the hotel because I've been non-stop on this trip all the time and had a local dinner at Le Quebecois. The owner is super cool, from Canada, and cooks great food. The next morning I had breakfast and a chill start before heading to Fatcat Cafe for another trendy coffee to book the rest of my trip. I needed to do some admin. After a stressful few hours and finally committing to a few things, I needed to get back out into town and walk amongst the colourful buildings which I love. A late afternoon coffee is needed here at Sicna Luz, and how trendy is this place? I know what you're thinking, that's enough coffee, James. We've seen about 5 cafes, I get it. But what else is there to see in Antigua? Hello guys, just thought I'd give an update. I haven't really done a video for a couple of days. Effectively got into Antigua on Friday and completely knackered as it was a 4 a.m. start. Got in, dropped the bags off, straight out, and out all day. It just took me out of it, you know. But done 26,000 steps, free walking tour, checked out the city, some coffees, etc. So then Saturday, which is yesterday, I had a bit of a down day, just needed to recover, which is fine. Today's been a bit of a stressful day really, trying to work out how the hell I'm going to do this trip. Planning stuff, because it's proven quite difficult to get from Guatemala to Mexico, either by bus, which takes ages, and is not even that cheap, and even flights that aren't that cheap either. But I have to get to Mexico City by the 8th of December, so I had to book a few things today. So the first half of this trip was winging it. I was just planning day by day, going on a bus, I'll go there, I'll go here, pretty much all the way up until yesterday, really. And then I realised that this place is expensive. I couldn't book many places here ahead of time that were cheap, so that was a lesson learned. So then I actually planned the rest of my trip because I needed to get things booked in case I couldn't get them done. So that means I'm gonna go to Lake Atitlan. When I come back from there, I've got a shuttle to the airport, flying up to Flores to do Tikal for 1 full day, back down to Guatemala City, then fly out of there to Mexico City, have half a day there, and then back to the airport to fly to Oaxaca, and then in Oaxaca for a bit of a chill 3 or 4 days before flying to Mexico City for another full day there. And the reason I'm flying is I need to maximize my time because I'm running out of time. And Oaxaca is a nightmare to get to from here. It's just not an easy place to get to. In hindsight, would have been different, but hey, I'm learning as I go. I don't do too much research. It's all going to be the benefit of you if you travel here. But let's just say getting from Guatemala over to Mexico by public transport is a ball ache. Anyways, I booked it all in, all the accommodations, still hostels. Got a few nice ones booked in, which I'm really looking forward to. And I've got a pretty much strict schedule now for the rest of the trip, which is cool. I know what I'm doing. I've got 1 full day in Antigua tomorrow. And I'm going to get all the content I need. I'm going to go up to a viewpoint at the top there. Going to go around the city. Might even get up for sunrise. Try and get up really early, get out there and have a full day. And then, yeah, let's see what happens after that. Morning all, Antigua. And what a beautiful day it is today. Look at this for a background. Come around here. Look at that. God, that is absolutely sensational. I'm actually going to go to a viewpoint. It's about a 10-15 minute walk. And we should get a nice view of the city of Antigua on this beautiful morning. Clear blue skies. Look at this, it's absolutely dreamy. I think I know where I'm going, but I'm just going down here. And Antigua's been interesting so far. I think I'm growing on it. It hasn't been a great start, but yeah, it's just much busier, and this is going to be an awesome view at the top there, I reckon. And yeah, I can't wait to show it to you. So let's go on a nice little walk. I'm now heading up to a viewpoint overlooking the whole city, and it's an early start. So what we're going up is here. Cerro de la Cruz. It's a lookout point over Antigua, and some steps up. Don't think it's too hard, but let's see. This kind of reminds me of the volcano hike, but not really because there's steps here and it's pretty flat in terms of the inclination. We got a nice bit of exercise in for the early morning. This early hour, many people are running up and down these steps. And this is a little taster in what is to come for the view. And here we have it. I've arrived at Cerro de la Cruz, a stunning viewpoint over Antigua with views of the volcanoes in the distance. Look at this stunning view. I tell you what, for a 10-minute walk, this view is absolutely insane. Just cop a load of this. Look at that. That is absolutely top notch. Wowzers. Oh, sat there all day. Holy cow. That is top notch. Wowzers. So the well-known volcano that you climb in Antigua is just there, where you see that smoke coming up. Yeah, so Antigua, I'm starting to like you. The views are incredible. Sunshine is out, cobble streets, starting to get used to them. Trendy coffee. But yeah, I think I'm gonna love it. I just had a bit of a stressful time booking yesterday, as I mentioned yesterday, but
I've accepted it now. I paid for it all pretty much, so it's all go. I've got to hope certain things fall in place. I'm sure it will. But yeah, this is a great little lookout point. So if you want free activity, it's only a 10-minute walk up. It's pretty easy. Get your sunglasses on, and yeah, you're gonna love the views. Can't wait to explore more today.
As it is early, I'm heading back down to the Santa Catalina Arch for a third time. And this time I could be in luck. This is the best shot I'm going to get. Hardly any people. What a cool attraction. You have to do it. Arbol Cafe is on the same street if you need a little coffee refill. Doesn't matter where you go in Antigua, the coffee is great everywhere.
Buenas, ¿cómo estás? Good, bien, bien. Me gustaría uno americano, para aquí. Medio.
This is an absolute beaut of a day. I need another Fernando's breakfast. A quick pit stop at La Panaderia Francesca, which is great if you need some pastries in your life. As I wandered over to Central Park, I bumped into Juan from Suchi Toto, the tour guide on the Civil War tour. It was so random and beautiful. I'm now making my way to the meetup point for an activity that's been very high on my list since I arrived in Central America, and that is a coffee tour. I decided to book with De La Gente because it is locally owned, and this is a charity that looks out for local coffee growers, making sure they get a good living, they're not ripped off by companies that we all know. We arrived at the coffee farmer's house and he talked to us about his family, his life and his coffee business. We then took a tour to his coffee farm and inspected the coffee plants and beans. There's so much information to take in. I love learning about this process. You can probably guess from how many cafes you've seen so far in this video that I love coffee.
Este es café, mira. Él si tiene 3 ramas, mira, aquí está hablando de 1 a 2 ramas, mira.
1,500 seeds. So in this property, from the beginning all the way to the end, behind those trees, he planted 1 slicer right on the surface of the property, and with the rain, he can wash it out. He will take the nutrients and the fertilizer to the next property.
Ya teniéndolo así ya listo, y allá siembra, porque empiezas a cortar a las 7 de la mañana y paras a las 4 de la tarde.
It is from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we use a plastic basket with a rope, and the yellow piece of the bag is called nopal. This is to protect our hips and our back.
No sale uno. En cambio, si uno corta uno de estos, sale con tronco. Mira, en cambio este, suave. Este está maduro.
Mismo sabe cuando está
Sí,
tiempo para
sí,
ellos.
porque ya va a estar así, que suelta el tronco.
Sí.
En cambio este no lo suelta, mira. No suelta el tronco porque está verde.
That is the ground
Todavía le falta.
the bean.
Time to head back to the house for a cuppa and learn more about the roasting process.
El cultor tiene que saber, se puede dejar 18 hasta 22 horas según el clima.
This is the classic roasting technique of the past, and we will be using these beans for our coffee later on.
Okay, so we are going to use this comal, C-O-M-A-L. Is the plate's name, made out of clay.
Y aquí vamos a hacer un tueste mixto. Este tueste no va a salir como el de la tacita, todo a un mismo color. Aquí va a salir un tueste mixto porque sale de diferentes colores.
So we are going to get a mix of different roasts. It won't be even as the one that we can see in the bowl. It will be a mixture of different colors.
Y así lo estamos moviendo para que él se vaya dorando parejo. Mira. Ya cuando él ya va dando su punto, empiezan a tronar como las palomitas de maíz.
And we have to stir it constantly. She knows when the coffee is almost done, when it pops like popcorn.
Y aquí lo enfriamos así, miren, para que le caiga toda la cascarita, ¿no?
So now she's taking the coffee to cool it down, but also to remove the last layer. The silver skin. You can smell it, but do not touch it because it's really hot.
Oh yeah. Just touch my nose, yeah.
Ajá. Miren, solo que tenemos que tener cuidado de no mascarnos los dedos en esto, ¿no? Así lo hacemos.
Press the edge of the stone, twist it a little bit, and then push it back and forth. And be careful with the finger.
Y así lo molemos. No lo vamos a moler solo de una pasada. Son de 3 a 4 pasadas.
Time for me to try the classic coffee grinding technique. This is harder than it looks. Let's make that coffee and drink to celebrate this amazing tour and city of Antigua.
Estupendo.
Ahí está. 9 y 10.
And we are brewing coffee for 10 cups. That's why she added 10
Bien, lo meneamos
tablespoons.
así, ¿no?
And after all the stages you learned today, coffee's done.
Yeah.
We're going to drink it now.
Here as well, I tasted Rosette de Jamaica for the first time, and I was absolutely obsessed with it. I bought some in the shop on my way back to the hotel. Samara was my vegan restaurant of choice this evening. It's okay, a bit expensive. I had one more night at La Casita Hotel, as it was half the price of my other hotel, but it's time to check out and head to Lake Acatenango. To summarise, Antigua was what I had expected in my mind. Great cafes and coffee, so much choice. To add to that, the Gente coffee tour was awesome, and I would highly recommend to book this tour. I'll put the link in the show notes. Cerro de la Cruz was a special lookout point, and I advise you to go early to avoid the crowds. Avoiding crowds is hard in Antigua, but if possible, if you're strategic about visiting places, go early. I could walk around the city all day, gazing at the buildings, soaking in the atmosphere, and people watch for hours on end. My advice is to book 3 nights, have no plans, and just wander around for days on end. It's a dreamy place to hang out, and I can see why it gets all the limelight. Oh, is the Santa Catalina Arch worth it? Absolutely. Just get there early, avoid the crowds, and get that amazing photo with the volcano in the distance. Get booking that flight, go in the off season, enjoy the wonders of Guatemala, and this, for me, was a great start to the trip for a new country. Let's see more in Lake Acatenango. See you there. Please follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel today, and let's go and see the world. Cheers, Hamo.